It's good to get the guys out in front of the crowd a little bit here a week before game day.
Yeah, it's really good. Just another element. These guys that have played before, for them it's more exciting. For some of the young guys that potentially could play, and even the redshirt freshmen that haven't played, that's something that just to watch them, and you see them, just a little bit of anxiety when they come out here and they got to go perform. And we didn't do a ton of team stuff, but even still, just the drills, the atmosphere, and we had a great crowd today. It was awesome. The music was great. It was a really good vibe. So I felt like today, more than any time, we kind of got into more of that game day atmosphere, and just to see these guys go out there and have that element they got to operate in. And there's certainly some mistakes out there, which you go back and you can talk about it. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll meet and say, all right, well, that's part of it. And you feed off the energy at the same time. When something doesn't go our way, you've got to go back and regroup, get back in the huddle. And a lot of it really is just about a mentality. But to come out here, 145, run around, and we try to get these guys a little bit juiced up and simulate some of that first maybe half, going out there and letting them run around quite a bit, because that's what it's going to be like when we go play next week.
Do you have anything that just stood out just from watching?
From today?
Yeah.
Nothing in particular other than just these guys, some situational stuff that we did and watching them operate. I thought Montel was good today. I thought he had a good practice. And you can also see some guys elevate a little bit, when there's a crowd out here and just kind of in that environment. So that did stand out with just a couple players where they're excited to be out here, and now it's really kind of that game mode, even though we're not going live and we're not in that same type of competitive thinking. But you can see guys elevate too. So it's not just always a negative, it's a positive to see guys elevate their game. And what it does when they leave here is this gives them a taste of next week. This place is going to be packed. It's going to be just like this. It's going to be warm. We're going to be ready to play. The sun, all the little things for the punt returners. Avery was dealing with some of that. So it all matters. And I thought it was a good day overall, just from that standpoint.
I don't know how much you can necessarily elaborate on it or anything. We see Archie out there. He's got pads on. But he didn't take a ton of snaps in the 11-on-11 scenario. Yep. So how's he coming along?
He's coming along well. John Molchon didn't take many snaps either. So Archie, John, both those guys should be back next week. Coyote didn't take any snaps today. He was in a boot, so he'll be out there next week. Those are all precautionary. Alexander Madison got to do some warm-ups today, but he should be ready to go some by Tuesday practice, and then Wednesday hopeful that we got him out there and he's practicing. Blake Whitlock, he's going to be done for the season, so he's going to have shoulder surgery. So he'll be done. He'll get this done next week, and so we'll rehab him. He has a redshirt year, so we'll be at.
Oops, you're good.
Okay, he has a redshirt year, so we'll get a chance to get him back. And so he'll be on that plan with Evan Tyler as well. The rest of the guys, all right now, just kind of precautionary. We expect them to be out there ready to go this next week, and hopefully they are. Their progress has been really good. So you rest a few guys. A couple guys that weren't out there, they weren't feeling good today. So there's no reason why they weren't out there. They literally weren't feeling good. Something they ate last night, so they got a little bug.
Was that not the chicken pox, right?
No, it's not the chicken pox. No, I read about that. I hope we don't have that. We had a couple guys with some bugs today that just weren't out there, but they'll be in the meetings tomorrow, and then come Tuesday practice, they're going to be ready to go. But right now, you got Evan Tyler that's not going to be with us this season. You got Blake Whitlock, and we just, with Blake, he was banged up, and it's kind of that final. Now we're going to get surgery set, so I think he's going to have it next Thursday, and then be on the mend from there.
Who kind of then steps in for Blake with him out?
Well, a few guys. You got Joseph Inda, Carla Canijo, in that nickel position. Now, different players, but
sure.
In those positions.
Right.
Gabe Perez being back, Riley Wimpy potentially, is going to be in that mix as well. And Riley's a young guy that he's come off his mission, so he's a young guy, but he's not.
Yeah.
He's a little bit more mature and did a really great job when he got back here. I mean, he caught up in a hurry just physically. So how all that works at that Sam nickel position, we're still working through some of that. with Blake not being in there. And then at that will linebacker position, Blake was also kind of
Yeah,
playing there some too. He was playing Sam, he's playing some Will. So you got Joseph Inda. And another guy that's had a really good camp, Bruno DeRose, has really, from where he was last year to where he is now, just physically his body's changed. He's been playing really well. Joe Provenzano played for us last year. So we have some guys in there, but obviously that hurts. You know, Blake's a good player for us. It's unfortunate. At the same time, the silver lining in it, you know, we get a chance to get him back next year, and which will be, you know, a good thing for us when that happens. But right now, we just got to deal with it, and some other guys are going to have to step up.
Basically, game week. Are you happy with where the team is coming out of camp?
I'm happy with where they're at. Now it remains to be seen. You know, we got to go out there, and we've done, I think, a lot of really good things on special teams, defense, offense. You know, every year you learn something, and so you try to go apply it. And you practice it. It looks good in practice. It looks good against each other, or it doesn't. And then you go back and keep working it. We're about to go face a really good Troy football team. That's the one thing. Troy is really good. And the more I watch them, I've been studying through the whole summer, and then you go back and start to study them again. They're really good, and this is going to be a massive challenge for us. So, all the things that we've been doing, I feel good about where we're at now. But we got to go out there and play. So. After today, we get into this next week. It's game week. You know, all the do you understands, all those questions, they need to be locked in. It's time to go out there, and we got a game on Saturday, and we got to go execute.
You've put a lot of guys on scholarship that were walk-ons this year. Some people might take that as, you know, maybe as a negative, because that means you're maybe losing scholarship guys. How do you see it, the fact that you've had to do so many, I guess, just this year?
I see it as opportunity for those guys. You know, one of the when you have 110 guys, and you start to really look at, you got 85 scholarships. When you sit there, you look at how many guys are deserving of having a scholarship, and there's a lot. There's a lot more than 85, I can tell you that. But you know, if somebody leaves, you know, one door closes, another one opens, and so you're sitting there with opportunities for these guys. And sometimes we have guys right now that could be put on scholarship that, number-wise and counters and all these different things that you have to just adjust for, doesn't allow it always. And so when we're able to do it, if we have one and a guy deserves it, we're going to put him on. And so I think it's something that's special for those players. And I'll say this, it's not just that we have one, they deserve it, and they've probably deserved it for a while. And now you have an opportunity, and that's one of the things with walk-ons is at some point, it may not happen right now, at some point it will, if you just keep working. And that's the one thing all these guys, I'll just tell you this, they've all done the work, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And so when there's opportunity to give a scholarship to them, reward them for that, we're going to do it.
Because you recruit them too. You know, I mean, it's not like they just come here.
Here's
the
one thing, we recruit every single guy just about the same.
Right.
There's a few guys that come walk on that are late, that you didn't quite know about and put the time in. Very rarely do we have guys in this team that we haven't spent recruiting. And we kind of know this is guys that, if we get these two guys here, we're going to keep recruiting this guy, and he gets to make a decision whether he wants to go here or he can come here and walk on. And I think the one thing we've proved, you come here, you walk on, and you deserve one, at some point you will get it. You're going to be rewarded for it. And you know, I just go back to the Brock Forseys of the world, the Jeb Putzieres of the world, the Matt Paradises of the world, all these guys that have walked on. It's really about, and they use it in the NFL terms, get your foot in the door, right? Same thing, get your foot in the door. Come here, do the work. Avery Williams. And all of a sudden, you know, just because you walked on does not mean that you're not a top player for that program. So we got a chance to do it. Those guys have been rewarded. They're all deserving of it. And when we have an opportunity to do that, like I said, one door closes, another one opens, and these guys have been rewarded for it.
Yeah, obviously we'll still have competitions at positions and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
at the same time, is it nice to have most of that kind of start to be figured out and settled down, and start to kind of fine tune and focus on that Troy, that first game?
Absolutely is. Yeah, you're really not going into games where you're saying in a game you're competing. You don't want to do that. You're going to give guys opportunities. But this next week, we're going to solidify the personnel groups. You guys are going to be doing this, really hone them in. You're a backup here, you're a starter here. Special teams becomes a big part of it too. You start to look at, all right, what young guys are going to be in the mix. Okay, how do we get them on special teams? because you don't want it to be just 5 or 6 defensive plays. You need to have 15 special teams plays. So Sunday we come back together. We really lock into Troy, and come Tuesday, whoever is out there repping, that's who's going to be playing. For the most part, if everything goes like we think throughout the week. And the other part of it is some of those guys are in backup roles when they do get their opportunity, because they're going to play somewhere, special teams, or they're going to be in some play. Make it count.
You mentioned special teams. How do you feel about your kicking game, at least entering week 1?
I feel good about our specialists. I want to see it. I want to see it in the game. They've done some really good things in practice. I think it's all about going out there and performing in the game. You get one shot.